Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement, where each and every week certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns, CFP, walks us through some of the complex financial, retirement, and investment issues that we face in order to make the most of each and every dollar that we work so hard for. The guidance of an experienced, qualified professional here each and every week for you, ladies and gentlemen. Tim, always a pleasure. And this week on the program, a very important topic that we all really must plan carefully for, making that transition from our working career to retirement.
Right. A lot of people know how to accumulate, which is obviously the key that we're trying to do at all times. Every 2 weeks, you're putting money into your 401k, you're saving money. But when you get to the finish line that is that you're done working, how are you going to decumulate and decumulate in the fashion that you don't run out of money or that you don't leave, millions of dollars to your heirs, right? Live comfortably, but maybe leave a little something to them. You need to have a plan. And that's where we're at again, is having a plan.
And even if running out of money is not a top concern or not even a concern on your radar, Tim, I think that those kind of folks enjoy being efficient as possible with their money as well. And even if you don't need income withdrawals from your investment portfolio, I know that the IRS has some requirements for all of us there as well. So having a specific plan on when and how to create that income and take those withdrawals to be as efficient as possible, a really critical consideration that you must have a specific kind of plan for, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we'll be talking about with Tim Stearns, CFP, on today's program. If you've got questions or concerns about your retirement, about your portfolio, about your investment performance, pick up the phone. You are welcome to give a call, be in touch. Tim does offer the service of a complimentary, no cost, no obligation review and evaluation, as well as a strategy session on your investment portfolio, your retirement accounts, and your plan for retirement. All you need to do is call 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And so, Tim, first and foremost, kind of just handling the need for income and assessing what that need is going to be is something that is a marked difference than the conversations that we've had during our working and accumulation years. Like the work, the sweat equity takes care of that part of the job while we are young and accumulating, but it's a significant need thereafter.
Well, you need to get your money to work harder, I believe, right? When you're decumulating. So, you're looking at, we always talk about this in class, going up the mountain, believe it or not, is the easy part, right? Coming down the mountain, making your money last for 30 plus years when many of us don't have pensions. You need to have a plan, and a dynamic plan because, life will happen around you. But one thing I hear a lot at my classes and from the radio shows, people saying, when you talked about winging it, that's kind of what we were going to do. I never thought that I should have a plan until I, sat down and looked at the staggering amount of numbers that are coming at me, that I'm going to be paying taxes on a lot of my money, that I'm going to have my second biggest bill will probably be medical expenses, so these are things that we need to kind of figure out ahead of it, and that's why I think having an income allocation plan is so key and a clutch thing that you need to do before you retire.
A specific kind of plan, Tim, that allows people to see what that lump sum is going to equate to, and then the order of operations in the process of accessing that lump sum. And I think that a lot of savers and investors think about retirement in terms of a lump sum, right? I need $1 million. I need $3, I need $5 million to retire comfortably and confidently without putting in the time to specifically address the planning that goes into what does that lump sum equate to?
Right. And we have people who come to us all the time. I have 2 million. I have 3 million. I have X. I have Y. Do I have enough? I don't know. Do you have enough? What are your plans in retirement? And it's just like building a house, right? You're going to need a plan. You're going to need a blueprint. Things will come up that were not on the blueprint. But if you're have somewhat of a model, you can figure out exactly what you need to be doing to get down the mountain safely. And if you're married, make sure that you're taking care of your spouse as well.
And if you've got that lump sum, whatever the amount is, but have not carefully and strategically put together that retirement income allocation plan, you might hope that it works. You might believe that it works. You might think that it could work, but the certainty is not there. That's what comes from the planning process, the specific planning for your income withdrawals and distributions, and how and where and when to access those, and what amount is a sustainable withdrawal, and where to be as efficient, how to be as efficient as possible with those. That's the income allocation planning process that Tim Stearns, CFP, walks his clients through in order to have that confident answer to, am I ready to retire? If you'd like to go through that protect and grow planning process, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So Tim, rather than how much we're contributing and a projection of a rate of return like we had during our working career, where does the income allocation planning start?
Well, it starts with literally going through budgets, looking at your old credit card statements, that type of thing. Or if banking online, to kind of give you a ballpark of what you are spending each month. A lot of people say, well, I'll be in a lower tax bracket when I retire, yada, yada, yada. Well, a lot of times when you add up what you're spending money on, it's going to still be there. Water, gas, electric are still going to be bills that you have to pay, cable, et cetera. So it starts with the budgeting and looking at that. And that's the biggest thing to know is how much money is going out of the house before you start working on what's coming in the house through your guaranteed sources.
So again, a little bit of a different perspective on things, Tim. For those who have been lucky or hardworking or blessed enough to earn a comfortable income, a substantial amount of income during our working career, we may not be paying as close attention to the budget, but we probably need to, because the shift in the income when we walk away from our paycheck and income earning years is going to be that much more significant.
Well, we say this right at the beginning of class. We are becoming as a society a net seller of assets, right? At the end of the day, when we are done working, whatever's in that 401k, the only growth you're going to receive is by having it come through the market, right? You're not working anymore. You're not filling the bucket anymore, but you are going to be taking money out to pay your bills because you are no longer working and you need to pay all the bills every month. So these are the things that we need to realize, is that whatever the sum is in those different accounts at the end of your career is what we're working with, and how to decumulate those properly so that you're not running out of money is absolutely imperative to a successful retirement.
Tim, I'm looking at the tax brackets here for 2023, and essentially for a married couple, we could cut our income in half to a certain level in retirement and still end up paying just about the same or be in the same bracket in retirement. Those brackets are pretty wide. So we could be earning $15,000, $16,000 a month, and in retirement, maybe only be shooting and aiming for $8,000 or $9,000 a month and still be effectively in the same tax rate, the same tax bracket. There's nothing that says that retirees automatically pay less in taxes. And I know that a forward-looking tax planning approach, a proactive approach to handling and paying taxes, is part of that written retirement income allocation plan and the protect and grow planning process.
Right. You have to look at where you're going to be, and at the end of the day, taxes, death and taxes, they're going to get you. And what's your biggest asset normally besides your house, right? It's going to be your 401ks and that type of thing. So these things have not been touched by the IRS. And just like you have a plan for your money, so do they. So you need to make sure that you're budgeting that in, that there's some of this money it's not all yours, is what I'm trying to say. Some of it is going to have to go to the government. So these are things that we need to work through with people and show. When someone says to me, oh, I need $100,000 a year to make the Smith house, go and be efficient. Well, what if something comes up, that we need to look at these different things and make sure that they know what they're paying and how they're going to get down the mountain safely into a 30+ year retirement.
Yeah. And again, if you would like to put together that written retirement income allocation plan, the protect and grow plan for your finances, your investments, your retirement, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, the importance of this really recently emphasized by a article from Kiplinger, and the title of the article, A Retirement Income Distribution Plan is as critical as saving. They're saying having that plan for creating income just as important as putting the money away and saving it in the first place. And they point out several reasons why.
Well, some of the reasons that they bring into it, I don't think people really think about it, because your mindset is moving away from accumulation. My mom and dad have always been, even in retirement, still savers, and trying to make sure that they have enough money, and they didn't do anything that was out of their realm of what they could pay for, So, but a lot of people don't live like that. So, when we're kind of living frivolously while we're working, that's one thing, but you got to kind of hone down on the numbers and make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into as you decumulate.
Well, you've used that word a couple times, Tim, decumulate. And the Kiplinger article talks about easing into distributions. Now, ideally, the kind of scenario that your parents were in, where they are still savers in retirement, that would be absolutely ideal, but we still need a distribution plan. As we mentioned, and as the Kiplinger article really highlights, that required minimum distributions are also going to be a factor in retirement, even for those who are still savers.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure that with having a plan, that it is dynamic, and you're making sure that you understand exactly what people are looking to do in life. I always find it interesting when they sit down with us. We'll have a husband and wife. Maybe one of them attended my class, and one of them says, well, I want to get out of here. I don't want to live in Illinois anymore. And the next thing, you have a death stare from the other spouse saying, well, but the grandkids are here, and, I want to be here, and you can go do something like that. And, there's a lot of conversations that have to happen before you get together on a plan. A lot of people back in the day had pensions, right? So that was okay. But now we have people, most of us don't have pensions, and we're living longer, and we're trying to make it work. So you got to make sure that you have a plan. And that's what we help people get through. 1 out of 10 Americans have a plan, and 9 out of 10 of us should have them at least.
But talking about those specific individual set of circumstances, Tim, this is not a one size fits all kind of thing by any means. We hear folks talking about the investment approach is invest in some good growth stock mutual funds and everything will work out. And by and large, over time, that approach has worked while we have the security of the paycheck. But the retirement income planning is very different based on those individual goals and set of circumstances and what we envision retirement to be all about.
Right. You got to picture what it's going to look like, and make sure you put some pen to paper to figure that out. We always give people a great handout that totally surrounds them with the questions that need to be answered for us to build a plan. Things in there like estate planning, long-term care, life insurance, investments, buildings that they own, real estate, you name it. It encompasses everything. So we don't leave any stone unturned, because what I find is that usually one of the spouses is the person that's paying the bills and knows where, the one guy kidded the other day, I'm the only one in my family who knows where the bodies are buried, as a joke. But I don't want that. My mom knew what everything was going on. She's still alive, thankfully. But if my dad had passed first, and I've talked about this on the show, my dad would have been pretty lost. He just took it for granted that she handled that. So having a plan also brings that spouse online with you, so that we're trying to accomplish something for the both of you.
Well, again, if you would like to take a look at your plan, if you'd like to take a dive into the investment analysis and understand the risks that you're taking, the fees that you're paying, the taxes that you may be liable for, if you're looking to make the transition into retirement and create that livable income off of your assets, or even if you're already there and you want to make sure that you're utilizing the best tools and strategies to optimize and be most efficient with each and every dollar, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns and TJ Stearns Inc. a call and take advantage of the no cost, no obligation review and strategy session and get your protect and grow plan in place, including that written retirement income allocation. 800-640-2256 is the number to call. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Another important consideration, Tim, is the sequence of returns. And this is a terminology that we don't hear a lot about because it, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter or affect us while we are saving money. But while we are creating income withdrawals and distributions during retirement, this can have a huge impact on our outcome and affect our whole trajectory.
I marvel at our classes. We have people from, call them blue collar up to white collar, highly educated. And I'd say 99% of the people, whether I teach classes here in Chicagoland, St. Louis, Tampa, or Arizona, they don't know what that is, sequence of returns risk. It's a really simple process of understanding it. Basically, if the market is going up when I retire, the chances are I'll have a better chance at having a good retirement, okay? If the market is going down, let's say 2000 through 2002, chances are I might have a rough time in retirement because the market was down 50% in those years. And what else is going on in those years that I'm not making money on my portfolio? I'm pulling money out. That is sequence of returns risk. That's one of the things that we talk about in our classes, a ton, because people don't understand that, no one has a crystal ball to say, oh, we'll retire now. The market's going to be up 20% this year, right? But that being said, you need to have some planning done then, right? So that you can mitigate the issue that if the market does correct like it did in 2022, that you're able to overcome that and not draw off of accounts that are down because maybe you took some undue risk because you had a 13-year bull market prior to that. And we're seeing a lot of that. People are coming more and more to the classes, calling in more and more to the radio show, saying, I thought I got it because it was a 13-year bull market. I got a little greedy. I got really my butt kicked last year, and I need to get a plan together. I need to do something.
Tim, you've got a great example on $1 million portfolio that illustrates the sequence of returns risk. And it basically looks at if returns happen forward or backward, or we get an average of what those returns are during our accumulation years, or just on a lump sum that we already have, right? So the rate of return of the S&P from 1999 all the way through 2018. If it happens in the order that it happened in real life or backwards, or if we just take the average, at the end of those three different scenarios, we still have the same amount of money. So the order of operations, the order those returns happen in, don't matter at all while we are not taking income. But when we do start taking income, it has a significant difference in the end results. If the rates of return happen in reverse order, we have significantly more money than if they happen in the order they actually occurred. So really what it boils down to is kind of luck and timing, and nobody can time the market nor their retirement perfectly, right?
No, not at all. That's why you need to make sure that you understand that you have, a lot of people use the buckets method. Let's go with that, where you could have a bucket that is for now, one for midterm, 5 years to 10 down the road, and then one down the road even further than that, where you're not having to take that money. That's maybe where you're in the stock market, right? You could have maybe some cash and an annuity, other things that you're going to live on for the first 5 years of retirement to see where you're at. But by doing that, I think that you kind of set yourself up for, if the market's doing well, great. I don't have to turn on that annuity, or I don't have to pull from my cash. I'll take the profits from the market. Thank you very much. Right. Otherwise, if the market is down like it was in 2022, maybe I'm just living off of what I had, in cash, as well as maybe my annuity and my Social Security. And I'm not touching those assets because they'll hurt me down the road. And that's all encompasses within having a plan.
How much are savers and investors that you're talking to, Tim, worried about the next downturn that we might see?
After last year, they think we're still in it. So, it's been a decent beginning to the year, but, all things, you hear the dead cat bounce theory, that it's just going to fall down again. Not everything is great out there. We still have the Ukraine war. You still have the Fed saying that they're going to raise interest rates, and that does not bode well usually for stocks, right? Or bonds now. So that is two things that we're trying to mitigate for people, is to figure out, you're not going to be able to figure out what the Fed's going to do within reason, right? So we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And we've talked about this on past shows. With the Secure Act and the Secure Act 2.0, the government is telling us in loud numbers and letters that you need to take care of yourself. We're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. And your company that doesn't have a pension anymore, they're not going to do it either. So I noticed in January, we had a ton of people in our classes. February has been much the same. We'll have classes again in March. I would tell anyone out there, if they want to attend our class, give us a call and we'll be happy to get them signed up. They'll take at least information from there that will make them be better in retirement.
Talking all about how to retire right, make the transition into retirement, because we only get one shot, ladies and gentlemen, at that ideal retirement. And while smart people learn from their own mistakes, we just don't have that time or luxury to have that ideal retirement that we envision. So we've got to learn the difficulties and the challenges that others have faced, and what led to further difficulties, and what helped savers and investors avoid some of those difficulties, and then implement strategic planning, efficient planning to help you in your situation. You learn about those at the upcoming classes or in that individual review and strategy session with Tim Stearns, CFP. Pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And then, Tim, you help people work through the variables. And of course, they can be numerous. There are lots of variables out there, but with that plan in place, you've really got the ability to address where there are things that can impact our outcome, and then to review those on an ongoing basis based on the confines, the construct, the blueprint of the plan. Well,
so, some of the things that we're looking at out there is that obviously taxation's a variable. We don't know what's going to happen after 2025 when that sunsets, the current tax laws. Also, estate planning, right? That's going to sunset back down to $5 million. What will the government do with that? You have inflation, which, the Fed is trying to get it, their perfect amount is 2% according to them, and they're at triple that, right? So, also anticipated rates of return. What do people think they're going to do? And it's interesting. Some people, I think it's going to do 8 to 9%. The market didn't do that 2000 through 2022, less than 5%. So, these are conversations that we're having with the variables that we can try to get ahead of. But again, our plans are dynamic. People lose their jobs. After we've made their plan, they have to come back and see us. We redo it. It's not a problem, because life does get in the way sometimes, and we can, mitigate what the changes that have been made.
Well, you've talked about your resource of the 10 steps to prepare for retirement, and yes. Are you prepared? Those questions that you must answer in order to have confidence moving into and through retirement. It boils down to having that written retirement income allocation plan all together, and then reviewing and updating that on an ongoing basis, ladies and gentlemen. That is what Tim Stearns, CFP, does each and every day there at TJ Stearns Inc. for his clients. And if you would like to get a plan put together, if you'd like to review and evaluate the current plan, or if you feel like you've got all of the pieces out there, the different investments and accounts, but have not truly brought them together into formulating a plan, or may have some pieces that have been left incomplete. Pick up the phone, give a call. Tim Stearns, happy to talk, discuss, meet with you, go through that review, the detailed forensic financial analysis and strategy session. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. No cost, no obligation to get your Protect and Grow plan, a written plan for your financial future and your retirement confidence. The Protect and Grow plan, they're available at TJ Stearns Inc. It's the proprietary planning process, and the details of that plan, of course, specific to you, your individual circumstances and situation. They'll put it together with you, for you, and allow you to have that higher level and degree of confidence moving into and through retirement as a result of having the plan. The Protect and Grow plan, if you'd like that, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, always a pleasure getting your insight on the important issues that we face, and really in making this transition to retirement for our ongoing quality of life and comfort and confidence. No bigger one than having that income allocation plan.
I agree, Peter. And I think people having only 1 out of 10 having a plan is a pretty scary situation nowadays, especially with the uncertainty in the market. So give us a call and we'll help you.
Well, we also see, Tim, that so many are worried about running out of money in retirement. Is there a correlation there between not having a plan and this concern of running out of money?
Yeah, the anxiety that must create is insane. And I always ask people, if I came to build a house for you and I said we weren't going to have blueprints, we weren't going to run on costs or anything, would you sign up with me? And they laugh and they say no. I go, well, that's what people are doing in retirement. So why not get ahead of this and make a plan that is going to be sustainable and dynamic and can move and change, so that you don't look into the 80-year-old person that has no money left.
And do that along with the help of an experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planning professional with that fiduciary responsibility to your best interest. Tim Stearns, CFP, here on the radio each and every week, but a resource to you in Chicagoland. Savers and investors who are proactive, turn to the guidance of TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns, CFP. Pick up the phone and give him a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Always a pleasure, Tim.
Thanks, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland Certified Financial Planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.